Midnight light on a dim-lit screen, clicking through stories you wouldn't believe. Cold case trails and courtroom scenes, whispers from the grave and media dreams. Truth is stranger, hearts beat faster, in the shadows of a news disaster. Scrolling deep where secrets hide, you found the stories time won't deny. Headstones and headlines, the tales collide. Justice and mystery, side by side. From backwoods clubs to breaking news lines, you shine a light where the silence lies. Oh, headstones and headlines, you dig where the truth won't die. Small town rumors and urban fear, a voice for the lost who can't speak here. Through every name, through every case, you hold the truth in a steady place. Cameras roll but justice lingers, truth unravels through careful fingers. We tell the story, speak their names in a world that's quick to look away. Headstones and headlines, the tales collide. Justice and mystery, side by side. From backwoods crimes to great night trials, you trace the echoes through every mile. Oh, headstones and headlines, you dig where the truth won't die. Some run from the dark, you walk right in with a question and a camera lens. It's not just a crime, it's the lives they led. The voice is still talking from the books unread. Headstones and headlines, the veil is thin. Truth gets louder when you begin. With every view, with every line, you bring the forgotten back to life. Oh, headstones and headlines, you dig where the truth won't die. Yeah, headstones and headlines, you tell the stories that time can't hide.
Hey everyone, how are you? So, I'm sorry for the late notice. I had this scheduled for earlier and then I needed to get some stuff done and I didn't actually plan to go live, but I noticed that the press conference was only about 30 minutes, so I figured why not. And we also, thank you for Pookie telling me, of course my internet is being wonky. Pookie had told me that there was also a press conference in regards to Michael Brown, who, for those of you who may not know, shot up a bar in Anaconda, Montana, killing 4 people, and he is currently on the run as well. So there is a lot happening in the world. I also saw, I hadn't realized that there had been a mass shooting in Los Angeles. I mean, I don't know how I missed that, but yeah, there's just too much going on. But I'm very glad that they were able to apprehend Austin Drummond because he is a very violent, dangerous man. And I'm curious as to why he didn't get help from his fellow gang members. I mean, there have been 4 arrests for aiding him in his, eluding police. But the other thing I can't understand is why did he stay in Jackson, Tennessee, where obviously he has connections there, but why wouldn't you get out of Dodge? I'm not saying he should have, because then maybe he wouldn't have gotten caught, but it didn't seem very smart to stay in the same area. And I was watching the live stream of a local news station, and they were interviewing a woman who is a runner, and she hadn't been able to run for a few days because they told people to stay inside and lock your doors. And her neighbor was actually the one who had the Ring doorbell camera that showed Mr. Drummond walking by at 4:30 in the morning. And that's when law enforcement was notified, like the general area. And then he attempted to carjack someone. So, he was getting desperate, and you could kind of tell on the surveillance videos that have been released. He was trying doors to see if he could get into certain places. And the fact that he was carrying around an AR is scary in itself. But I'm glad he's back where he belongs right now. So thanks for being here. I did see Crystal was first. Amber, thanks for being here. Victoria, Pookie, as always. Lunatic, no worries. I just started. I'm actually very late. And then I was freaking out because I thought I had put this private, but when I went to StreamYard, it showed it was public. And I was like, oh my God, has my live been public for the past hour and a half when I didn't plan on going live? But it was just, something was being weird between YouTube and StreamYard. Hey, Narcos, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're well. Or no, I saw you the other day because I sent you a timestamp. So I sent you a timestamp. All right, so we're going to get started. So we're going to start with Mr. Drummond, who is the man who was on the run after a quadruple homicide in Tiptonville, Tennessee. A grandmother and her daughter, her daughter's boyfriend, and the baby of the daughter and boyfriend, or not the baby survived. It was the brother of the daughter. So the mom and her daughter and son were killed, and then the daughter's boyfriend was also killed. The baby, for whatever reason, Mr. Drummond decided to just drop off on a random lawn about 30 to 40 minutes away from where the 4 others were found unharmed. So hopefully, I haven't watched this press conference yet. I'm going to be listening with y'all. So I will mute and then we'll discuss once it's done. And hopefully the audio seemed okay. We'll see.
Let's go ahead and turn right now to this press conference to get all the latest information.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Kim Wheeler, Public Information Officer for the West Region of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. We couldn't be more relieved today to share with you an update that Austin Drummond is in custody. That is a significant win for all the dedicated agencies that worked tirelessly over the past week to bring him to justice. We want to thank the community for the incredible help. This successful apprehension was made possible by the countless tips and unwavering support that we received from you, the citizens. Without your partnership and willingness to come forward with information, this arrest would not have been made possible. Thank you for being the eyes and ears. After everyone speaks, we will open it up for questions, but please note this is an ongoing investigation and you're going to have questions that absolutely cannot be answered at this time. With me here today to provide more information on the capture of Austin Drummond is TBI Director David Roush, Jackson Police Chief Tom Corley, U.S. Marshal Western District of Tennessee Tyrese Miller, 29th Judicial District Attorney General Danny Goodman, 26th Judicial District Attorney General Jody Pickens, Lake County Sheriff Brian Avery, Dyer County Sheriff Jeff Box, and Madison County Sheriff Julian Weiser. Director Roush.
Thank you, Kim. And thanks to each and every one of you that are here today. Let me start by making it very clear. This is a phase of the effort. The capture is a phase. We will move into the next phase. We've already started that at this time. So, but this is not done by any means. This is just, we are now able to move into the next phase. So I do want to say thank you. This is a perfect example of police community cooperation. And there is no better example for this country, frankly, of the effort that's gone into this week-long challenge, trying to find the suspect after the horrible, tragic deaths of the family that was taken from the Lake County community. And so I do want to say thank you to the local, state, and federal agencies that all came together tirelessly, working 24 hours a day for an entire week until today, when finally we were able to get the lead we needed to find the suspect and get him into custody. It also took a very vigilant community. And so we're very appreciative of everyone here in Jackson for being vigilant, paying attention, and especially for the calls today that led us on the path, that led to
ABC 24 News starts right now with breaking news.
And a community that is looking out for the safety of everyone here. And so I wanted to make sure we express that. And again, I can't tell you how proud we are of the amazing team of police that have worked on this from our various levels within government. And it shows what can happen when we put everything aside with a focus on mission. And so I want to reiterate how important that has been and how proud we are of all that were engaged in this to be able to come to today's phase in our effort. And so with that, I will turn it over for the specifics of the capture over to Chief Tom Corley with Jackson PD.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Before anything else, I'd like to begin by expressing our heartfelt condolences to the families of the lost loved ones from this vicious crime of Lake County. We're praying for you. No words can fully capture the depth of your pain, but please know that you're not alone and the Jackson community mourns with you. Again, we're here today to confirm that Austin Drummond has been taken into custody. More importantly, his capture occurred without any further harm to the public or to any law enforcement officers. The outcome, as the director referred to, is the direct result of incredible coordination, skill, and determination shown by our local, state, and federal partners. It's a powerful example of what can happen when law enforcement agencies work together with the community who have a shared mission and a singular focus. I'd like to take a moment to recognize and sincerely thank the agencies who played a role in this effort. The Federal Bureau of Investigation and the United States Marshal Service, from our state partners, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Tennessee Highway Patrol, and the Tennessee Department of Homeland Security, and local law enforcement, the Jackson Police Department Special Operations Division, our patrol division, our criminal investigation unit, and our JPD dispatchers and communications, and also the Madison County Sheriff's Department. Each of these agencies brought their resources, their people, and their expertise to the table, and they did so with excellence. I'd like to pause right now, though, and I'm a little biased, but I'm going to talk about the Jackson Police Department for just a minute. From the moment this case unfolded, you never hesitated. Our dispatchers, patrol officers, special operations, investigators, each of you demonstrated bravery, precision, and tireless dedication, even in the face of danger. Your courage has not gone unnoticed, and the citizens of this community are proud of you, and I'm deeply thankful for you. To briefly cover the apprehension this morning, I want to first address the process that led up to it. As you're aware, for the past several days, law enforcement have been focusing on specific areas of the city based upon some intelligence, some physical evidence, and technology. From discovering the vehicle near MCO Road and the intelligence which led us to the area off of Pleasant Plains Drive, these type fugitive search operations are most typically made in a methodical fashion. When covering areas, particularly wooded areas, a cursory search is not sufficient for community safety. And I know that's difficult to have patience for. And I know several of you probably didn't get a lot of sleep because the helicopters flying around and the officers being in your neighborhood. And I know that's tough, but for the last few days, that's what's been transpiring. This morning, however, a couple of encounters with Drummond changed that methodical search to a dynamic one. Just after 8:00 a.m., we received multiple calls of sightings of the suspect. Placing resources there immediately resulted in an additional citizen's call at about 8:57 a.m. We took advantage of that quickly evolving situation and made the arrest at 9:05 a.m. I'd like to introduce you right now to Officer Trout, Officer Compton, and Officer Drown. They were there right at the right spot and reacted immediately and are responsible for the apprehension of Austin Drummond. As this case moves forward, any additional charges or prosecutorial decisions from any actions that may have occurred within Jackson will be deferred to District Attorney Jody Pickens. We will continue to support his office and the TBI as this process unfolds and ensure that every step toward justice is taken thoroughly and properly. Today, again, we find some peace in knowing that the suspect is no longer a threat, but remain committed to the families, the community, and to justice. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Tonight, families in West Tennessee can sleep more soundly. Austin Drummond is once again behind bars. He is suspected of an unthinkable crime that put all of us, an entire city and area, on edge. He thought he could outrun us, but he was wrong. That's because together we cannot be stopped. Law enforcement from every level and the people who call West Tennessee home did our parts. We worked long hours, neighbors stayed vigilant, agencies donated reward money, and someone saw something. They saw something out of the ordinary this morning and did what he was supposed to do. Because of that action, Drummond is in custody. Thank you to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation for leading this investigation, to the FBI for their unwavering support, and to the men and women of the Jackson Police Department and the local agencies such as the Madison County Sheriff's Office, Dyer County Sheriff's Office, Lake County Sheriff's Office, and other agencies who show up every day to answer the call to duty. And to the men and women of the United States Marshal Service, thank you. Your relentless commitment to duty is unmatched. To the families in Lake County who lost loved ones, Drummond's arrest cannot restore what has been taken from you. We only hope that we could have help give you assurance that justice will be had. And to the baby girl who will tell one day her story of survival, we look forward to all that you will do. God bless West Tennessee, and God bless America. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. First thing I'd like to do is once again give our condolences to the family of the victims in this case. We have numerous victims, so obviously we have a lot of people in the communities that are hurting because of this, and we want them to know that we're going to do everything we can to seek justice in this matter. You know, this started almost 7 days ago to the exact minute. It was last Tuesday, a little after 3 p.m. when we got the first call of the infant who had been abandoned, and that started this whole process. I don't think I have ever seen so many agencies work together and work in sync. This has been so impressive. It has been what I would think should be a blueprint for the entire country on how to run an operation. You had numerous law enforcement agencies, not just 1 or 2. We're talking about that goes across all of West Tennessee, federal agencies, and they all put their pride aside and had one common goal, and they all did whatever they had to reach that goal. And because of that, today's a good day, and Austin Drummond is not going to be a threat to this community anymore. As Director Rouse said, this was phase 1. The real work starts, and the lengthy work will start at this point. Investigations do not end when a person is arrested. That's just the part to get them into custody. This investigation is going to go on for a good period of time. In addition to that, there will be lots of court appearances, lots of hearings, and we will do everything we can to ensure that the communities are kept safe, and we're going to do that by seeking justice in this case. I'm going to work with General Jody Pickens, because we do have a case this time that's a little bit different, because we're going across a couple of different judicial districts. And because of that, he and I will be working closely together, but we will work together just as law enforcement did with one common goal, and that's going to be to make sure that we seek justice. And with that, I'm going to turn this over to General Jody Pickens.
Good afternoon. My name is Jody Pickens, and I'm the elected district attorney for the 26th Judicial District, which is comprised of Chester, Henderson, and Madison counties. Like the others who have gone before me, I would like to begin by saying that my condolences go out to the families of these victims who lost their lives. And so we will continue to work to achieve justice for them. The other thing I would say that I want to say that we are very happy that we can, at this point, bring a degree of peace back to this community, which has been on edge since this incident and since they have learned that this person was back in our community. I too am a Madison County resident, and I just wanted to say that when it comes to law enforcement, we are blessed in this area. We don't have good law enforcement. We have great law enforcement. And as what has been said before, people put their differences aside and work toward a common goal. And that is why we are all standing here in front of you today, because working together, they were able to bring some security to this region. Like General Goodman said, an arrest often is just the beginning of a prosecution. There will be, the investigation will continue. I will continue to consult with our law enforcement partners, also consulting with General Goodman, because there will be some decisions made. We will be working towards making sure that anybody that may have had a hand in assisting Drummond will be held to answer for that. Those investigations will continue, and we just encourage the public, which has been so important and so engaged in this situation, to continue to provide that information that you may think doesn't matter, but which may in the end provide the break that law enforcement needs. So with that, I would say, God bless our state, God bless this community, and God bless America.
Good afternoon. My name is Brian Avery. I'm the sheriff of Lake County. For those of you that don't know, Lake County is a county of about 7,000 people. It's kind of one of those counties where if one person hurt, we all hurt. This happened right in our back door, and it put a lot of people on ease. And we all band together. Once this happened, when we all band together, We all want to see this thing through. We all want to see it to the end. But today I want to say, share with our community, the Lake County community, the Madison County community, that Austin Drummond is in custody. This arrest is a significant step toward the ongoing investigation, and we are grateful of the outcome. I want to thank the local, state, and federal agencies that made this happen. Without them, Drummonds would still be free today. The community stepped up with the phone calls, the text messages, the emails. If it wasn't for them, we would still be searching. We would still be looking. To the families of the victims, please know that our thoughts and prayers remain with you. While this arrest brings some measure of relief, we realize that the road to healing is going to be a long one. We as a community continue to pray for the families affected, for those still processing the trauma of these events. Justice will continue to be pursued, and we will remain committed to doing everything we can to support those impacted. Thank you.
I'm Jeff Box, Dare County Sheriff. This incident, the baby was dropped off in my county. The victims were residents of Dare County. And I want to start today by recognizing those victims. I left the funeral home just before I got here today of one of the victims, and I spoke with both his mom and dad, and they wanted me to sincerely thank with great, great gratitude each responding agency, each one of you up here, and each officer that responded to this tragic incident that put an evil sense in the air throughout Lake County, Dare County, Madison County, and all across the state of Tennessee. So I want to begin thanking you from the family by calling those names that were tragically taken. Courtney Rose, Adriana Williams, Braden Williams, James Matthew Wilson. Their names deserve to be spoken. Their lives deserve to be remembered, and their families deserve justice. Our hearts go out to each of these families. We cannot begin to imagine the depth of your pain, the weight of your grief, or the heartbreak of what you are now facing. Please know that this community stands with you. We're lifting you up, and we will walk with you in the days and weeks to come. Thanks to the incredible collaboration that you see here on the stage and the determination of all law enforcement officers and partners, Austin Drummond has now been apprehended and charged with these victims' murders. We're thankful for a safe resolution to this manhunt, but we also recognize that these families, that the difficult journey is just beginning for them. I want to take a moment to thank those who helped make this possible. Sheriff Brian Avery from Lake County, Sheriff Troy Klaas of Crockett County, and Sheriff Julian Weiser. The Jackson Police Department, whose partnership and response was unwavering. Our state partners, the TBI, Bureau of Investigation, who kept us informed every step of the way, and the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Our federal partners, the FBI and the U.S. Marshals. Every deputy, every officer, every dispatcher, and investigator who contributed to this effort, we thank you, as well as the public information officers, Kim Wheeler of the TBI, and Stephen Sutton, who led an important work of keeping the community and the public informed while we had boots on the ground working this case and assisting in working this case. Thank you to the community. We can't say enough about how your support and cooperation has been the best, not only to keep yourself safe, but to help in his capture today. Let me be clear that the manhunt is over. The justice process is just beginning, just like General Goodman stated. We remain fully committed to continuing this investigation, including the vehicle that was found in Dare County, the infant that was abandoned in Dare County, every tip, every detail that we receive, every lead that will be followed through completely and thoroughly. Everyone has been very concerned about the well-being of the baby, and we're glad to report the baby is healthy and doing well. As we leave here today, let us join with the victim's friends and other family members as they lift up the victim's family in prayer for strength and support that they're going to need in the days ahead. So thank you.
Sheriff Julian Weiser, Madison County. I just want to say thank you to the community for the support, the prayers, being vigilant. I got to witness some hard work this week. It was 5-6 days of high intensity. Local, state, federal law enforcement officers across this county. You know, every door that we opened, every structure we checked, we didn't know if Drummond's was going to be behind there. And to have that amount of intensity over 5 or 6 days, and our law enforcement personnel working 18 to 20 hours a day, they made an ultimate sacrifice to keep our community safe. And I want to personally thank them. I want to thank their families for standing by them. There's a lot of people behind the scenes as far as with TBI, intel analysts, support staff, the district attorney's office. You know, the troops in the field relied highly on our administrative staff. So they did a great job with providing us with intel. And I know the community will get some rest tonight. And it was amazing to see the hard work and commitment, sacrifice that our law enforcement personnel has made for our community. Thank you.
All right, that'll conclude the remarks. Are there any questions that we might be able to handle? Yes, sir, please.
Hi, Brendan Tierney with WSMB 4 News in Nashville. What's the working motive at this point? Any idea, anything you can tell us on why he did this?
Yeah, and at this point on a working motive, we are unable to speak about that. Still all part of the investigative process at this time. Yes, ma'am.
Imani Williams with Channel 5 out of Memphis. Drummond was out on bond for multiple charges out of Lake County and Trousdale County. One in Trousdale County being allegedly smuggling drugs inside the jail, cell phones inside the jail. Will that impact his investigation right now with this incident?
In terms of his prior charges that he also has picked up while he was in prison, all of those certainly will be taken into consideration as we move forward in our investigative effort in the justice process, but certainly in his housing and how he'll be managed going forward.
Yes, Billy, Fox 13. You know, we saw those 3 accomplices get picked up. Are y'all looking into Caitlin's speed?
Yeah, again, I appreciate the question in terms of, you know, those who were assisting Mr. Drummond as he was on the run. And I can tell you that we will continue to address those individuals, each that have been engaged. In terms of identifying specific individuals, I won't go into that at this time. Yes, ma'am.
Priya Schrader with NBC News. I understand there's a connection between the suspect and the victim. Can you just speak to that relationship?
Yeah, in terms of the relationship between the suspect and the victims, the suspect's girlfriend is the sister of a victim, is the daughter of a victim, and is the sister of 2 victims. So yes, that's the familial connection at that point. Yes, ma'am.
Can we get any details of where exactly he was located? Or speculation that he was found in the pool house?
Yeah, I'll let Chief Corley address that.
Sure. Yes. So the first call we got, he was out in that area. The second call that we got that led to the apprehension, he had been in that area and was in the woodline, I believe, the wood line right behind that. So, but as far as the location where he was standing or staying overnight or during the day, yes, it was an abandoned or a vacant, I should say, a vacant building.
Does he have any ties to that?
I don't believe so. I can't tell you that.
Was he armed when you found him?
No,
How long do you think he'd been in that pool house? I mean, was
I
this
couldn't
the
tell
whole-
you. Not right now. We're investigating that.
I know you all talked about community support. There was a large reward out. Will somebody get that? Will it divide it? How will it work?
Yes. So in terms of the reward, what will happen is we will vet the information that we obtained and determine who would be appropriate to receive the award. So we'll look into that very specifically to determine who it will. More than likely, from what I have heard, there may be more than one person that will receive a portion of the award. And so that's what we'll be working on as well. Let me go back here and then I'll come back. Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about how he survived during this period of time in the woods? Was he getting help from the persons who've been charged in this case?
Yeah, Mike, in terms of how he was able to continue to be out on the run and those who assisted him, I won't be able to go into that because that's all part of this investigative process. And we can't go into those details yet at this time.
You know, you said you can't speak to motive. Do you have any idea why all those victims ended up in that same spot in Lake County?
Again, those are specifics about the investigative process. I won't go into details at this time. Yes, ma'am.
Was it surprising to still see that he was still in Jackson? And what was the challenge behind finding him?
Yeah, in terms of were we surprised that he was still in Jackson? I think I don't believe we weren't surprised that he was still here in the area. We know he was obtaining support, obviously. As you know, we have arrested individuals that were providing that. And so it wasn't a surprise. Quite frankly, we thought he may try to run, and his history has shown he has left the state before. And so we were concerned about that, but we had a lot of confidence in the information we were getting, the intelligence we were getting, the technology that we were following that helped us with the assurity that we were honing in quickly on his location. Again, it was the community that really broke this for us, and I don't want to downplay that at all. All of the effort, all of the technology, all of the dog determination that we had was really came down to the community doing as was stated, seeing something and making that call. And that was critical for us to be able to be where we are today with this. I think we're going to get one more.
Ezekiel with ABC 24. You mentioned that Drummond wasn't armed. Were you able to recover the weapon that you were seen holding?
Yeah, I can tell you that, we did recover a couple weapons at this point, and we're still searching to see what else is out there. And so I would ask, again, a plea to the public. If you see something that you believe maybe was involved in this, don't touch it. Call right away. Let us get to it and process that scene. And there are still pieces that we're trying to place together, and so there's still evidence out there that we need to gather. But we have recovered weapons. I can't speak to if those are the weapons that were used in the homicides, but I can tell you we have recovered a couple of firearms at this time.
One more question from.
I'm sorry. I cannot speak to the specifics of the weapons yet. All right. Yes, sir. Final.
Where is the baby? Where is Drummond? And did Drummond say anything once it was captured?
I can tell you in terms of Drummond, he has been transported to a facility. We won't state where he's at this point. And I can tell you that, I won't tell you what took place after he was taken into custody. That's all part of our investigative process. In terms of the child, I will yield.
For the baby, we'd rather not say where the baby is now for its well-being, but it is safe, healthy, and being well taken care of.
All right. Again, thank you all. We very much appreciate the help, especially throughout this, the media has been absolutely critical, pushing information as quickly as we could provide it to you, keeping a focus for the public on this. And so we again, this isn't just policing. This is our community. This is our great media doing a fine job. So thank you all as well for the effort that was put into this. We appreciate it. Thank you.
A lot were waiting to get confirmation on that we had put some pieces of the puzzle together, but finally hearing from authorities, the biggest one to me, Ruben, confirming that Drummond's girlfriend is the sister of 2 of the victims and the daughter of 1. Did not really give exact specifics on the names, but we know there are 4 victims, and Courtney Rose is 38 years old. Then we had Adriana Williams, who was the 20-year-old. Her boyfriend that we think her boyfriend was James Wilson, the 21-year-old, and then the 15-year-old Braden Williams.
So that was one of the keys that we had been waiting to hear, kind of what all of that relationship may have been. The other thing that was interesting, and there's a lot to unpack from what we just all heard. No weapons found on Drummond when he was arrested, but weapons were recovered, just not necessarily on him when they arrested him. They would not elaborate on what the weapons were that they found or whether or not they felt like those were the weapons from the crime scene.
And we saw from the video that he was carrying what authorities had said in the Facebook postings and social media that was a rifle at the time in the video. So yes, to have recovered or not recovered the weapon when he was arrested, but then to have found weapons elsewhere is interesting.
So it sounds...
All right. So lots, as they said, a lot to unpack, but a few of the questions that I had that have been circulating social media and other creators' chats were answered. Grain, the baby belonged to the 21-year-old and the 20-year-old. I think it was 21 and 20. Let me just look really quick. Yes. So Mr. Wilson, 21, Miss Williams, 20. And then Miss Rose was the grandmother or the mom to Miss Williams. And Braden Williams was the brother of Miss Williams. So based on what law enforcement has said, the sister, it would be the sister of Miss Williams, because law enforcement said the girlfriend was the sister of one of the victims and the daughter of the other. That would be, so the mom of the baby, her sister was dating Mr. Drummond. And another thing I was trying to verify yesterday was all of these creators are saying that the girlfriend is pregnant. They're saying 4 months, 7 months, because there was a picture where she looked like she was pregnant, where she was holding her belly. And so I was asking, like, where is the verification? What source? And they said, oh, well, Justin said it, so he only gives facts. And it took all I had to bite my tongue, because that's not verification. So then they had said, well, the photo was shared on the Ease Crimecast. So I went over to the Ease. I looked at their live stream, and how convenient the source of the photo was cut off. So I was like, nope, that's not verification. Until I hear it from a reliable source, I'm not believing anything, because also the aunt of Miss Williams, who would also be the aunt of Drummond's girlfriend, had said in a post that they were no longer dating. So even her family didn't know what was happening. So I just, the Ease, I don't know. to me, they're in the same realm as Bullhorn Betty, Justin, JLR. Yeah. Nice people, but they were sharing Facebook posts with no source. Like, it was just the picture and the text, not where it came from. So I ended up finding the picture on Facebook, but not that actual screenshot that they were sharing. And a lot of it is just, these armchair detectives who are trying to comb through social media, and I'm not believing anything until I hear it from a reliable source. But I'm glad that law enforcement verified that they were dating. I wish one of them had asked, though, because it's also been stated that Caitlin, who is the girlfriend, worked at the prison, right? We had read that in an article that Caitlin had worked at the prison where Drummond was being held during his sentence. So it's just, there's a lot of things that I know we're not going to learn for a while, but at least they verified that. And they also, I had thought about the weapon, and they did say they found multiple weapons, whether or not it was the weapon he was seen walking with, or if he was to keep the weapons that he used in the crime. I mean, that's not very smart. But speaking of that, I did find, where did it go? Here it is. So there have been 4 people arrested in assisting Austin. I do have a video of 2 of them who have been charged. So we're going to take a look at that really quick. And then I have just a short article in regards to the funeral of James Wilson, whose funeral was today. All right, so let me add this to here. There we go. Oops, I've got her on mute. Hold on.
Of those suspects facing charges as Drummond's accused accomplices appeared in district court in Lake County today. ABC 24's camera was the only one to capture the hearing. ABC 24's Desmond Nugent continues our team coverage with more on what happened in court.
Lake County District Attorney Danny Goodman tells me Darius Sanders and Brandon Powell are the 2 new suspects named with helping Austin Drummond. He tells me this just goes to show that Drummond is well connected.
During the course of the investigation, it was determined that Mr. Tanaka Brown
4 to 21 years. That's how much prison time Tanaka Brown is facing if convicted. He's the man charged with tampering with evidence and accessory after the fact for his involvement with Austin Drummond. Drummond is facing 4 counts of first-degree murder and a kidnapping charge for last week's deadly murders of 4 people found along Carrington Road in Tiptonville, including abandoning a baby.
And I just think that it shows he has a lot of connections, lots of friends who are willing to do what they have to help him.
Brown wasn't the only suspect and Jackson, Tennessee native in court on Monday. Darius Sanders is also being charged with accessory after the fact. She could be serving 1 to 6 years in prison. Goodman says authorities named her as a suspect early Monday morning.
I think was placed in custody probably somewhere around 5 a.m. And the only information I can give at this time is that she's gave some assistance afterwards.
Brandon Powell is the other new suspect Goodman mentioned after Monday's hearing for Sanders and Brown. Powell is being charged with possession of Schedule 6 drugs and criminal conspiracy. Both Sanders and Brown have a $250,000 bond.
It's for the safety of the community.
Giovante Thomas is looking at similar charges as Brown and Sanders, accessory after the fact. He will be transferred from the Madison County Jail on an unrelated charge to the Lake County Jail, where he will be in court August 7th. Powell will also be in court on August 7th. Brown is expected to return here at Lake County District Court for a source hearing on August 14th. In Tiptonville, I'm Desmond Nugent, ABC 24 News.
And it makes you wonder, is it really worth it? But then again, this man, this Drummond is dangerous, and I mean, I guess if you're, in fear of your life, you would do anything. But it'll be interesting to find out what they did to help him. And the one guy tampering with evidence, I mean, it's craziness. Wonder what Schedule 6, let's see. So, marijuana. Let me see if it says any. Okay, so Schedule 6 specifically targets marijuana, THC, and synthetic equivalents. Schedule 7, that's Schedule 7, is butyl nitrate. All right, so last thing I wanted to touch on was the funeral for one of the victims, who was the dad of the baby, who was abandoned, kidnapped, and then abandoned. So, funeral held for victim in Tennessee, quadruple murder. Murder suspect Austin Drummond was captured Tuesday, the same day as the funeral for James Matthew Wilson, one of his 4 alleged victims. Family and friends gathered at the Johnson Williams Funeral Home to honor the memory of 21-year-old James Matthew Wilson, known to many as Matthew. Wilson was the father of the baby who was found in front of a house in Dyer County, reportedly left there by Drummond before Wilson's body was found in Lake County. Matthew was remembered as a devoted father with a quick wit and infectious smile, leaving a lasting impact on those who knew him. He was a devoted father and would do anything to take care of his child and family. Matthew's quick wit and infectious smile lit up any room he walked into. Growing up with him was an adventure. He was always there, whether to offer a helping hand or to provide a shoulder to lean on. Though his time with us was cut short, the impact he made on us will last forever, his obituary stated. Residents in Dyer County told WREG on Tuesday they were relieved that the manhunt for Drummond had finally come to an end. We were able to speak with a friend of Courtney Rose, the 38-year-old victim. The woman would not speak on camera as she was still very emotional about the news, but said that family came first for Courtney. I was around the same age, so we went to school together. She always seemed to take care of her family, and she was just a good person. Drummond had been on the run since last Tuesday, when the bodies of James Wilson, 21, Adriana Williams, 20, Courtney Rose, 38, and Braden Williams, 15, were found along Carrington Road in Tiptonville. An infant who was related to the victims was also found safe in front of a house in Dyer County. All of the victims and the infant were related. The girl's mother, Adriana Williams, was also one of the victims. It's so sad. Yeah, exactly, Queen Bella. Sad and senseless. And one of the rumors going around is that it had something to do with drugs. But nothing gives anyone the right to take anyone else's life, regardless of what they did. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in this. So changing gears, also today was a press conference in regards to Michael Brown, who is the 45-year-old man who opened fire at the Owl Bar in Anaconda, Montana. He is still on the run, and last I heard, he had stolen some camping equipment. So officials did hold a press conference in relation to him today. So let me... Shoot, did I close that window by accident? Dang it. Hold on, I gotta find it now. Ugh. What the heck? What did I do that for? All right, bear with me here. And I hope the audio is as good as it was for the last press conference. Okay, so let me do this. Share this. All right. Oh. All righty. And I will mute. This one is about 23 minutes long. We'll take a couple more on this side if you're able, sir.
So good morning. Today I'm joined by members of several Montana law enforcement agencies to provide an update on the current situation in Anaconda following the shooting last Friday. Before I begin, I'd like to take a moment of silence to acknowledge the loss of 4 Montanans: 59-year-old Daniel Edwin Bailey, 64-year-old Nancy Loretta Kelly, 70-year-old David Allen Leach, and 74-year-old Tony Wayne Palm. Thank you. May God rest their souls and comfort their families at this difficult time. I've spoken with members of the victims' families and shared condolences on behalf of the people of Montana. Please keep them in your prayers. Moments ago, I received a briefing on the status of the ongoing investigation and the search for the suspect. With me here today are Attorney General Austin Knudsen, Montana Division of Criminal Investigation Administrator Lee Johnson, Montana Highway Patrol Major Justin Braun, General Mike Marini from the Montana National Guard, Anaconda Deer Lodge Police Chief Bill Sather, Anaconda Deer Lodge County Attorney Morgan Smith, U.S. Marshal Craig Anderson, and FBI Assistant Special Agent in Charge Richard Bauer. Thank you all for being here. According to the Montana Department of Justice, on Friday, August 1st, around 10:30, 45-year-old Michael Brown walked into the Owl Bar and opened fire, killing 4 people before fleeing the scene. At this time, Michael Braun continues to be at large. Since the tragic event, our Montana law enforcement officers have been unrelenting in their pursuit, working around the clock to bring this suspect, Michael Brown, to justice for his heinous acts. I recently received an update from the Montana National Guard on their assistance with the search. Since Friday, a helicopter from the Helena Battalion, as well as 4 soldiers, have flown over 19 hours as of Sunday to assist with the search and to provide transportation of law enforcement personnel into this remote area in the mountains. Working alongside these folks, standing beside me, all partners will continue the pursuit of this criminal. Once found, I have no doubt that the Montana Department of Justice will prosecute this killer to the full extent of the law to bring justice to those grieving the loss of a loved one and solace to members of the Anaconda community. Rest assured, our brave men and women of law enforcement aren't giving up. And I ask you that you not give up on them either. Think of them in your prayers and support them and their families as you can. Yesterday, I spoke with Police Chief Sather. Under Montana law, I'm able to release emergency funds to law enforcement if local agency requests it. This morning, I received that request from Anaconda Deer Lodge. And moments ago, I signed an executive order to support the efforts of local law enforcement. While the state has already been supporting this investigation with staff and aviation assets, this action today will ensure additional financial resources are available as we continue to track down this criminal. In particular, these additional financial resources from the State Emergencies Response Fund will help pay local law enforcement's overtime and to continue the search. At this time, I'd like to invite County Attorney Morgan Smith to share a few words on behalf of the chief and the Anaconda community. Morgan?
Thanks,
Governor. Good afternoon. I'd like to first start out and talk to the families of Daniel, David, Nancy, and Tony. Our thoughts and prayers remain with you. My office will be reaching out to all of the victim families and want you to know that there are services and financial assistance that is available through the Victim Witness Advocate and through the Montana Crime Victim Compensation Fund. Recognizing all that is on your plate right now as you experience this tragedy, if there is assistance that the Victim Advocate can provide or that my office can provide, we would love to do so. To the Anaconda community, if I can speak for both Chief Sather and myself, we understand the desire for more information. This manhunt has involved individuals from 38 local, state, and federal agencies, and coordination of hundreds from all of those agencies has been a very difficult task. They are responding to every call, to every tip, and they're tirelessly searching the area where the suspect is believed to be. I understand the pit in your stomach every time you've heard sirens in our community the last 5 days. I experienced the same. Any call that comes in of a potential sighting of Michael Paul Brown or a suspicious person in an unexpected place, or a concern that you can't reach a loved one and you have concern that they have been harmed, every single one of those calls has been responded to. And every time those calls come in, they're treated as though they are going to be the call that results in the apprehension of Michael Paul Brown. The officer response to these calls has been immense. For those of you that have homes or have property in the Stumptown area, we hear your call for questions. We hear your concerns of access to your property and safety of your homes. The agencies that are working with Anaconda law enforcement are working to set up a process for communication with you so you'll have a clear understanding of your access to your home and to your property. When you're seeing lights and sirens pass your house, we're understanding that you want answers. However, we ask that you remain patient and know that the investigation is ongoing. There's information law enforcement cannot release to the public for potential of jeopardizing an ongoing investigation, and there's information that law enforcement cannot release for fear of creating additional safety risk to law enforcement officers or to the community at large. When the dust settles and our community is safe again, we will answer all of the questions that we are able to. In the meantime, we ask that you take information that you see on social media with a grain of salt. We ask that you refrain from sharing information that you do not know to be true. The specific facts that will later be necessary for the prosecution of this case are not necessarily relevant for the apprehension of Michael Paul Brown, nor do they ensure in keeping the public safe. The priority of all of the folks standing here before you is the apprehension of Michael Paul Brown. We ask that you be kind. We ask that you look out for your neighbors and recognize that while state and federal agencies are here and they're working really hard, your local police force and your local dispatchers are working right alongside these agencies. They're also continuing to respond and patrol our community, respond to 911 calls, and remain involved in active ongoing investigations. Thank you.
Thank you, Morgan. Now, Attorney General Austin Knudsen will share more information on the resources available for reporting a tip to assist in the arrest and capture of this suspect.
Thank you, Mr. Governor. I'm Attorney General Austin Knudsen. I want to first say thank you to the governor. This release of assets and resources for law enforcement is going to allow us to keep this manhunt going. This is very labor intensive. It's very resource intensive. These tactical teams and the manpower out here, knowing the state of Montana has stepped up and is going to offset some of those costs is a huge continuance for us. So thank you, Mr. Governor. Also want to thank the law enforcement crowd that's here. What you're seeing behind me is tremendous. This is nothing short of remarkable for a law enforcement response in the state of Montana. This is what we do. Something bad happens and neighbors respond. And we've got local agencies, we've got county sheriffs, local municipalities, but I also want to thank our federal partners. We've got the FBI here, we've got the U.S. Marshals Service. This allows us to keep more resources focused at catching this individual. With that, I want to announce that the U.S. Marshals Service has increased our reward for any information that will lead to the capture of Michael Paul Brown. The U.S. Marshals Service has now put up $10,000 for any tip that leads to his apprehension. The tip line, and this is important, 1-877 wanted 2, the number 2, wanted 2, and I'll give you the digits. 1-877-926-8332. Again, it's a $10,000 reward currently for any information that's going to lead to the apprehension of Michael Paul Brown. We want to get this guy rounded up. This is our top focus in the entire state of Montana, is making sure this community is safe and getting this fugitive brought in one way or the other. So again, want to thank all our partners, thank my agencies, the state agencies, the county agencies, the city agencies, and our federal partners for being here. Thank you, Mr. Governor.
Yeah. Thank you, Attorney General. Once again, on behalf of the people of Montana, thank you to all the law enforcement officers and agencies dedicated to resolving this investigation and search, and to the families of those who lost loved ones. May God bless you and keep you. At this time, I'll open it up for questions. I ask that you please raise your hand and state your name and outlet. Yes.
John Riley, Montana Television Network. I've spoken with numerous residents over the last few days. The number one question from all of them: when was the last time Michael Brown was seen physically? Was it, within the last couple days, or was it since the incident?
Yep.
Yeah. And I might ask DCI or one of our locals to come up and address this. Without stating too much, I mean, I think the last concrete time we can say for sure he was seen was Friday. Now, there is certainly evidence in our search area that he's present, and that we're hunting in the right haystack. But at this time, to answer your question as specifically as I can, the last confirmed, absolutely sure sighting of Michael Paul Brown would have been Friday.
Yes.
Governor, Shaylee Rager, Montana Public Radio. I understand we've been talking about the Stumptown Road area. Can you be any more specific about where search efforts are concentrated right now? Is there, a parameter of search area where?
Okay, I'm deferring all specific investigation stuff to the AG or DCI, so they want to.
So Lee Johnson from DCI will answer.
Hey, good morning. So the question is essentially, how large is the perimeter? How focused is it? We've gone everywhere from a focused perimeter based on evidence that we're seeing in the area to a much larger area that is protective of the residents up there, and obviously to what is reasonable for where a human being could possibly be located or could move to. And so when we look at all of those options with resources available, the type of terrain, it's very challenging. So we have expanded our perimeters to look in different areas.
Square footage or acres?
I can't provide that detail right now. That's operational. So I appreciate the question.
Okay. Thank you. Other questions? Yes.
So has there been any evidence that he's broken into cabins or homes for food? Any such evidence?
Question is there any evidence or indication that our suspect has broken in any cabins or homes in the area? The quickest answer is no. We don't have any evidence that that's happened. Residents are obviously being cooperative. There's been sweeps. There's a number of cabins up there. They've all been swept and checked. Other assets up there, but the quick answer to your question is no.
Yes.
DJ Bauer, Nonstop Local. What is the federal government's involvement in this case look like going forward in terms of the search for Michael Brown?
Come on up. We can share the podium.
Yeah.
Is Richard Bear, FBI, along with our U.S. Marshals counterparts. We've been here since the onset of the investigation, and so we've provided significant resources tactically, investigatively with our intelligence program. So we're here to see it through with our partners and stand side by side with them and do everything we can in the federal government to help keep this community safe.
Is there still air support for the search?
That's correct.
And I just want to add, again, as a shout out to all of the members, federal, state, local, the cooperation between law enforcement agencies has really been spectacular. There's no friction, and they've been relentless in their pursuit of this suspect. Yes.
Josh Margolis, NBC Montana. Were there, obviously there were the 4 fatalities. Were any injuries reported during the initial incident or the pursuit thereafter?
Nothing specifically. I mean, look, it's rough terrain up there. We got a lot of personnel up there working. They're carrying a lot of gear, animals, equipment, packs. We got to be careful up there. So I think it's foreseeable that somebody might get themselves hurt. We're doing everything we can to make sure that doesn't happen. But at this time, that's probably about as far as I'm going to go with that one.
And my second question is for local officials. How was the community notified of this active shooter situation?
You want? Sure.
Sure. So, to be honest, it was real time as it was occurring. There was basically communication to a number of locations, courthouse, hospital, things of that nature, indicating a belief that a lockdown was potentially necessary. And then, honestly, from there, what happened was a large law enforcement response. That communication was then largely handled through local media, as well as online presence, and then updates have been provided since that time when able through both the use of social media as well as notice to the media.
Yeah, John.
John Amy, MTN News. I was going to ask when you mentioned real-time response, do we know, was this a standoff situation? And can you explain how maybe did he leave the bar, the suspect, prior to police arriving? What do we know as far as how he was able to kind of slip through or was as far as the
Sure. Without sharing, because this is ongoing, there's a lot of information that we're not going to be in a position to disclose. Once Mr. Brown was leaving, I can tell you that the law enforcement response to realization that he was leaving was nearly immediate. And so there was no gap in time where he was located and then chased. Pursuit ensued. But outside of that, I wouldn't be able to provide any more specifics.
Yes.
John Riley, once again. Are you operating under the belief that he is still armed?
Yeah. We have to, John. We absolutely have to assume that he's armed and extremely dangerous. This is clearly an unstable individual. He's had access to firearms, numerous firearms in his home, and he used a firearm to commit a really heinous series of crimes. We don't have specific information, but look, he was able to escape and get up in the mountains. We are absolutely operating under the assumption that he is armed and extremely dangerous.
And just a follow-up question. The weapon that is believed to have been used in the murders, has that been recovered or is that still missing?
I'm not going to comment on that because that is critical to an investigation and we're not going to release that.
John Amy, MTN News. Did the suspect, I know you guys probably search his residence and stuff did he leave any kind of note or send any kind of message on social media or anywhere prior to the attack?
Also, that would be part of an investigative file. We're just not going to comment on that.
Okay. So, I'm Duncan Adams with Montana Stand. Attorney General told us Sunday that there would be a transition with law enforcement. And there's been a huge transition. It seems like a very small precedent to that. Why so small at this point?
I'll take that. Look, I think it's important to know that we're still taking this extremely seriously. This is still the #1 law enforcement effort in the state of Montana. But look, the fact is you have a lot of out of jurisdiction law enforcement professionals who are here. They've got home counties, they've got hometowns that they have to go in and they have to enforce the law there too. We also run up against just resources and logistics. There's a lot of manpower and a lot of overtime being put in up here. That money has to come from somewhere, and it's not reasonable for us to expect, Petroleum County to come over here and put in the time that they have and not have that time compensated. So those are the kind of things that we've been working through the weekend. I cannot thank the governor enough for the executive order that he signed today, freeing up emergency funds. That is absolutely huge and a game changer for us because that allows us to keep this search going at a higher level. So I'm hesitant to say it's going to be a big transition. We're keeping our all the assets, all the resources that have been here are going to keep being up there. We've got teams cycling in and out. They've got home territories they have to go home and take care of as well.
Okay, we'll take two more. Yes.
Jake Ellison for the New York Times. I noticed that Stumptown Road is open now. So can you just talk a little bit about why that road is open and what you
what you expect people who use that road or who live there and have homes off of that road? How do you expect them to?
Yeah, the county attorney Smith addressed that a little bit. There's a process being set up to allow residents to get back in. They have animals up there. They have personal belongings. They need to get back to their homes as long as their safety is not being compromised. And that process is underway now to get that put in place. I don't know if you want to add anything.
That's basically what we know at this time.
Okay. Yes.
I understand that this is probably a number that changes, but I'm curious, like today, how many people are searching in this area? You know, how many personnel are searching? How many mentioned there are dogs? How many dogs are up there right now?
I'm going to defer this probably to Lee with DCI. Look, I'm reluctant to put out there publicly how many canines we have up on the hill searching. We don't know if people are communicating with Mr. Brown. We have no reason to think so. But at this time, I'm reluctant to tell you exactly how many assets we have up there. We can probably give you a rough overall number of law enforcement presence at the time. But aside from that, that's as far as we're going to go. Lee, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, just to follow up on that. So we scale our teams appropriately for what the mission is. And we have anywhere from 4-person teams to as many as 12. And that's just one team. So several teams depending on exactly what we're trying to accomplish. But I can tell you that we are inserting substantial resources that are scaled appropriately. I don't want to talk about strict numbers from which agencies, but I can tell you that we're maximizing the resources that are available.
And I would just add that was the whole point of this executive order, is to make sure the resources are available there so we can continue to pay overtime to make sure the law enforcement stays on the job until this individual is apprehended. We'll take one last question. Yes.
Family members of Michael Brown have reached out to us and said that he was denied help from the VA. Is this something that you people are able to confirm or deny?
Yeah, under federal law, we can't comment on an individual patient. And I don't know if there's additional information you can add about local things, but we're not at liberty to release that. So
I mean, I think that's a question for the VA. We just don't have that information. We don't have access to it. Frankly, it's not cogent to our investigation at this point.
Okay. Thank you all. We'll keep you posted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So hopefully they will be able to find this man as well, because I mean, and if he's in the mountains in Montana, I hope they, have infrared or something, heat sensor where they can find him. I did double check while they were talking, and he did steal a truck with camping gear in it. So he's got at least some resources that he may need in the wilderness. So there's one last thing that I wanted to share, and that is about the victims of this heinous act, I should say. So Anaconda community reflects on victims and calls for justice. And this is Nancy. She was the bartender in the bar when Mr. Brown went in and opened fire. And okay, I think we're going to get to that. Oops. On Friday, August 1st, tragedy struck the town of Anaconda when a man walked into the Owl Bar on Washington and 3rd Street, opened fire, and shot and killed 4 people. In previous reports, we've spoken a lot about the alleged killer, Michael Brown, but who we haven't spoken a lot about yet are the 4 people who unexpectedly lost their lives. It's just such a shock. The whole town is just heartbroken. We're just in shock, shares Jill Rolls. If you were to walk a block down the street from the Owl Bar, you would see the JFK Bar, where Jill Rolls works as a bartender. Jill tells me she's known 64-year-old Nancy Loretta Kelly for 10 years. I was with her the night before. I throw horseshoes, and she and her boyfriend were throwing against us. She was watching him play just outside, having fun chatting. The next day, Nancy, along with 74-year-old Tony Wayne Palm, 70-year-old David Allen Leach, and 59-year-old Daniel Edwin Bailey were all shot and killed in a mass shooting. Jill tells me she doesn't know much about the other 3 victims. All right, so we've got Nancy in the middle, and then these 3 men were also killed. I only knew Tony from coming into the bar when I was bartending, but Jill did know Nancy. She says Nancy was more than a friend. We all used to watch football together. She was an oncology nurse, and she helped take care of my dad when he had cancer. She explained everything to my mom and me very well to help us understand what he was going through, shared Jill. Nancy wasn't just a friendly face to Jill. She has a huge heart. She loves animals. Every animal loved her. She walked around town carrying bones for all the dogs. They all knew Nancy. She was just a great person who would do anything for anybody. Another Anaconda local I spoke with agreed with Jill. Nancy was known and loved by many. Even in the short time I was at the scene, several folks placed flowers and paid their respects to the 4 community members of Anaconda who lost their lives last Friday. It's a very tight-knit. Everybody knows everybody. You walk across the street, and they know what you're doing and where you're going. Which is why Jill says the entire town is looking for justice. It's crazy. Everybody wants to go out there, and they're mad. Everybody loved Nancy so much, and they feel like he should be done the same to him. I hope they find him soon. Just awful. Terrible, terrible, terrible. So hopefully, I did look a little bit during the press conference to see if I could find anything else about the other victims. However, I was not. So if I do come across anything related to any of the other 3 who lost their lives, I will definitely share that, most likely on my community page. So that's all I've got. So thanks everybody for being here. I do have a short new intro. I was playing with Canva today because I'm trying to learn more about YouTube. I don't know everything that I should know. So I was practicing end screens and end cards. And so at the end, what should happen, fingers crossed if I did it correctly, is my outro now is 8 seconds. But in those 8 seconds, you should see not only my avatar for my channel, but also 2 recommended videos. So if you know, like when other, like the news stations, I know it's annoying, but the news stations have things cover up a lot of their broadcast at the end. This is going to be hopefully over my short outro. So we'll see. So with that, I hope everyone has a great night, and if I don't see you on these YouTube streets, I will see you all on the flip side.